Okay, think about this for a second. Imagine working your whole life, saving diligently, and then poof, your savings just disappear faster than you expected.
That's a scary thought, right?
Oh.
And some studies actually show a really concerning number of people might outlive their assets.
Exactly. And if you look at the average Social Security check, well, for many people, it's just not enough to rely on entirely. Hoping for the best isn't really a financial plan.
No, definitely not.
But, and this is the important part, there is good news here. Taking control, really getting a handle on your financial future, that's absolutely something you can do.
hmm
Welcome, everyone, to Book Talk Finance.
It's interesting, isn't it? Mastering money, it doesn't have to be some, super secret complex thing.
Right.
It's more about understanding the rules of the game. And, well, learning from people who've already figured it out is a pretty good way to start.
Couldn't agree more. And today, we're diving into a book that tries to do just that. Tony Robbins' Money, Master the Game.
Ah, yes, that one.
Oh. Think of it like this. It's meant to be a guide that boils down the strategies used by some really successful investors.
The financial world's elite, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. And the goal is to give you an actionable roadmap, something you can actually use to move towards your own financial freedom.
And just to sort of frame this, book talk, finance, our whole aim here is to be a shortcut for you.
Mm-hmm.
We get it. Time is precious. And honestly, wading through some of these dense finance books, it can be tough.
It really can.
So we try to pull out the core ideas, the really crucial insights, to make this important knowledge, easier to access and digest.
And Tony Robbins is an interesting figure to learn from here, wouldn't you say? He spent decades, literally decades, looking for strategies that work for transforming lives.
He has reached millions, that's for sure, through his books, seminars, all that stuff.
And you get a sense it's not just about the money side of things for him. I mean, that partnership he did with Simon & Schuster, donating hhis book, Notes from a Friend.
Oh, yeah. I remember hearing about that.
His whole thing was about feeding minds and bodies. It suggests, a broader mission to empower people.
Which kind of brings us to why this book, Money, Master the Game, came about when it did.
Right.
Robbins mentions how big financial events like crises often act as wake-up calls for people.
Yeah, he connects it back to his own experiences, doesn't he?
He does. He talks about his own past struggles and how books were like lifelines for him back then. So he apparently dove into hundreds of financial texts over years.
Wow, hundreds.
Yeah, and Money, Master the Game sort of feels like the result of that huge search for answers.
Okay, so our mission for this book talk is pretty straightforward then. We want to unpack some of the really impactful ideas from Money Master the Game.
Give you a head start.
Exactly. Give you a head start on navigating your own finances. We want you to finish listening feeling, informed, maybe a bit motivated.
And equipped, like you have some tools.
Yes. Equipped to make smarter choices with your money, but without feeling like you just sat through a university lecture all overwhelmed by jargon.
And one thing the book stresses right at the start, which is really crucial, is that everyone has an opinion about money. Everyone.
Oh, for sure.
But finding advice that's genuinely valuable, that often means listening to people who actually have a proven track record.
Yeah.
Real financial success.
Robbins is quite clear about that, isn't he? He says his goal is to bring you the strategies of people who've actually, done it, achieved significant sustainable success.
Right. Not just talked about it.
Okay, so let's get into the book's perspective a bit. It kicks off by highlighting something quite interesting, how our whole idea of retirement is actually pretty new.
Yeah, historically speaking, it really is. Only affects, a few generations?
Right. Before that, the norm was just you worked for as long as you possibly could.
That context is so important, I think. We went from a time where maybe some people had pensions that guaranteed income for later life.
The dream for some.
Kinda, yeah. To now, where the responsibility, it's mostly on us. Through things like 401ks.
There's employer plans.
Right? And IRAs, the ones you set up yourself. The individual retirement accounts.
And this is where it gets, a bit alarming, actually. The book brings up studies suggesting a big chunk of people might actually run out of money. They might outlive their savings.
Yeah, that statistic you mentioned earlier.
And while Social Security is there, that average monthly payment, in many places, it's just not going to cut it for a comfortable life on its own.
It really does highlight the need to be proactive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can't just rely solely on those traditional safety nets anymore, maybe not for the future you want.
The book puts it plainly. What's your retirement plan?
Mm-hmm. And then it immediately dives into potential issues, even with common things like 401ks. especially around fees.
Oh, yeah, the fees. Robin spends a lot of time on this, trying to demystify the costs, the often hidden costs tied to different investments.
They can be really sneaky.
Totally. He argues that the returns you see advertised for things like mutual funds, that's often not what actually lands in your pocket.
Right, because there's this whole layer of fees, management fees,
Yeah.
administrative fees, all sorts of things.
That just quietly eat away at your growth over time.
Yeah.
And the impact, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars over your investing lifetime. It's staggering.
It is. And this is such a critical point the book makes,
Yeah.
that, maybe you see a 1% fee and think, oh, that's small.
Doesn't sound like much.
Right. But that could just be the start. There might be multiple other fees layered in there.
Yeah.
And altogether, they can seriously drag down your long-term growth.
It's like uncovering secret rules, isn't it? You think you know how the game works, but there's this hidden stuff affecting the outcome.
Exactly. Think about it like this, that 1% annual fee on, say, $100,000, that's growing at maybe 7% a year. Over 30 years, that fee alone could cost you over $80,000 in lost returns.
Wow. Just from that 1%.
It's a huge chunk of your future
Right.
just gone.
It reminds me of those optical illusions where two lines look different lengths, but they're actually the same. Our intuition about money can fool us, just like our eyes can. The book even touches on behavioral economics.
Yeah, how our own minds work against us sometimes. Our emotions, our biases. They can lead us to make financial decisions that aren't really, rational.
Even when we think we're being totally logical.
Precisely.
Hmm.
Our built-in biases, psychological quirks, they can steer us wrong. He uses that example about organ donation rates.
Oh, right. How it varies massively depending on whether you have to opt in or opt out.
Exactly. It just shows the power of inertia, right? How these seemingly small background factors massively influence our choices. And that includes financial choices.
Okay, so we have these potential problems, hidden fees, our own psychology working against us. So what's the answer according to the book?
Well, money, master the game, really hammers home the importance of getting educated, first off, and then taking action. Like now, gaining control.
Don't just worry about it, do something.
Right. And Robbins pushes for a plan that isn't crazy complicated or super time-consuming.
Because complexity is the enemy of actually doing something.
Pretty much. He lays out this framework, 7 simple steps, he calls them. And I think he even developed a free app to help guide people through it.
So it's practical.
Yeah, the focus is very much on actionable steps. It's not enough just to know the problems exist. You need a clear way forward. The book tries to be more than just info. It's a blueprint,
Okay.
helping you figure out where you are now, financially, and how to bridge the gap to where you want to be your goals.
And step 1 on that journey. It sounds almost too simple, but it's fundamental. Decide on a percentage of your income that you're going to consistently save and invest every single time you get paid.
Yeah, tapping into the power of compound interest.
That miracle power of compounding, as the book calls it, it really emphasizes that even if you start small, that consistency over time can lead to pretty substantial financial independence.
This is where he introduces the idea of building your own automated money machine.
Right.
By saving and investing consistently, automatically you shift. You stop being just a consumer.
And you become an owner, too, someone with a stake in things.
Exactly. Someone whose money starts working for them even when they're sleeping or on vacation. Compounding is like that snowball rolling downhill, right?
Yes, start small.
Starts small, picks up speed, it earns interest, then that interest earns interest. It grows exponentially. Invest $100, earn 7%, you have 107 Pilates. Next year, you earn 7% on the whole, $107, not just the original $100.
Yeah.
It just keeps going.
Okay, so that's step 1. Commit to saving. Then, the second part of the book gets into becoming an insider.
Ah, yes, knowing the rules.
Yeah, truly understanding the rules of the financial game. It warns you about marketing myths or investment lies, he calls them, things designed to separate you from your money.
Like those advertised mutual fund returns we talked about.
Mhm.
The ones that don't always match what investors actually get after fees.
Exactly that. This whole section is about arming yourself with knowledge, so you can navigate the, let's be honest, often complex world of investing.
It really highlights how the fees you think you're paying might just be the tip of the iceberg,
Right.
and how that can lead to a huge erosion of your returns long term. The book gives specific examples, encourages you to dig deeper than the surface info.
It even looks at potential issues within things that sound straightforward, like target date funds or no-load funds.
Stressing that you need to understand how they're structured and maybe who benefits most from them.
The goal here seems to be empowering you, the reader, to invest more like an insider with that kind of knowledge, even if you're starting small.
Okay, so you understand the rules, you're avoiding the myths. What's next?
Next, the book guides you through figuring out what you actually want, defining your financial dreams, setting real goals.
Goals you can actually achieve.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people either have no idea how much they need.
Or the number seems so huge they just get paralyzed.
Exactly. So it helps you get specific. What does financial security look like for you? What about independence or total freedom?
And then it helps translate those dreams into a tangible plan, something actionable. He mentioned software, an app again, to help personalize it.
Right, make it your own. And for people who want to get there faster.
Yeah, there's a section exploring strategies to potentially accelerate your progress towards those goals. By this point in the book, the idea is you've got a much clearer picture of your destination and a custom map to get there.
Okay, that makes sense. It builds logically.
Now let's jump ahead a bit to a really crucial piece, creating a lifetime income plan.
Yes. Because accumulating assets is one thing.
But having a reliable income stream when you actually need it in retirement, that's the key, right? The book tackles that fear head on, the fear of outliving your money.
It's a very real fear for a lot of people.
Absolutely. So it explores different strategies to try and protect your income stream during those retirement years.
And this section gets into what the book calls one of the financial community's best kept secrets.
Ooh, intriguing.
Well, methods for developing a guaranteed lifetime income plan. It looks at certain investment vehicles, ones often used by big institutions or very wealthy individuals, that aim to offer growth potential, but also limit the downside risk. The goal being a more predictable income throughout retirement.
And speaking of the wealthy, section 6 of the book is fascinating. It's called Invest Like the 0.001%.
Right, this is where he shares insights from those interviews he did.
Yeah, interviews with 12 seriously heavyweight financial minds. People like Carl Icahn, Ray Dalio, Jack Bogle, big names.
You get a real window into their thinking, don't you? Their strategies, their core philosophies that have guided them through booms and busts.
Definitely. How they think about risk, how they aim to generate returns, their views on the bigger economic picture.
It's like getting a masterclass from the absolute best in the business.
And you know, one theme that just keeps popping up again and again throughout the book, but especially in these interviews.
Let me guess. Starting early. Compounding.
You got it. The incredible power of starting to save and invest as early as possible and just letting that compounding magic work over time.
There's that story he tells, right?
Yeah.
With the two brothers.
Yeah. The one who started earlier, even though he put in less money overall initially.
Ends up with way more in the end.
Significantly more.
Yeah.
Just because his money had more time to grow.
It's such a powerful illustration. It really drives home that time. That's maybe your most valuable asset when it comes to investing.
Truly.
The sooner you start, the bigger the snowball effect of compounding becomes.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter as much if the initial amount is small. It's like planting a tree, right?
Good analogy.
Plant it early, it has more time to grow tall and strong, bear lots of fruit.
The book also challenges that default idea that you have to be the money machine, you know, constantly trading your time for dollars.
Right. It pushes you towards the idea of transitioning, building a system where your money works for you.
Generating income even when you're not actively clocking in hours.
The ultimate aim is moving away from just the 9-to-5 grind, moving towards real financial freedom. And the book keeps coming back to the foundation for that.
Making that decision.
That conscious decision to save a part of your income consistently, what he calls your freedom fund.
And then investing those savings smartly.
And to make it easier, less reliant on willpower.
He gives practical tips, how to automate it.
Exactly. Set it up so the money moves to your investment accounts automatically, before you even see it, before you can spend it.
He also shares stories, right, about regular people.
Yeah, inspiring examples of everyday folks, people on modest incomes who manage to build substantial wealth.
Ow.
Through that sheer consistency, consistent saving, smart investing over time.
It shows it's possible then. It's not just for the super rich.
Not at all. That's a key message. It's achievable for anyone who gets the right mindset, commits to saving regularly, and understands the power of just sticking with it. Consistent action.
The book also touches briefly on something else, the 6 core human needs.
Oh, right. His framework for understanding motivation.
Yeah. And how understanding those needs, things like certainty, significance, connection, growth, contribution, can influence your financial behavior.
It makes an interesting point there, doesn't it?
Mm,
that while money can definitely help meet some of those needs.
like certainty, maybe significance.
Right. But true, lasting fulfillment, that often comes from other areas, like
Yeah.
contribution, giving back.
It's a good reminder, I think, that
Yeah.
the money is, at the end of the day, a tool.
Mm.
Its value goes beyond just buying stuff. The book encourages you to think bigger, find deeper meaning, which often comes more from what you give than what you get.
Well said.
So, as we start to wrap up our book talk on Tony Robbins' Money, Master the Game, let's just quickly circle back on the main themes.
Okay.
We've talked about how vital it is to actively take control of your finances,
Like,
not be passive.
yeah, and understanding those rules of the game,
Yeah.
especially the hidden stuff like fees and their impact.
Huge. And then the incredible benefit of starting early,
Mm.
saving early, investing early, and making it automatic.
Consistency is key. And maybe if we leave you with one final thought to chew on, it's this. Just take a moment, maybe later today, and think about your financial money machine. What does it look like right now?
Is it just you working hard, trading time for money?
Or are you starting to build that system, the one where your money starts working for you, building wealth over time, generating income?
Think about what that first step could be. Maybe a small step, but a significant one. What could you do today to start building your own path towards, greater financial freedom?
Yeah, how can you start making your money work harder for you instead of you always working harder for it?
It's a powerful shift in thinking. And look, if you found this discussion helpful, if you're keen to get more insights from important finance books, learn more about personal empowerment,
We'd love for you to subscribe to the channel.
please do. We'll be having more talks like this. We're really here to support you on your journey to a brighter, more secure financial future.